Good morning, everybody. We are live. I am hoping you are as excited and as happy as I am today. I am floating. I'm absolutely floating. I've got my Republic of California shirt on today in honor of attacks. See, the number one way I'm attacked online is people. The bots are programmed to call me fat. They're programmed to be abusive to try to make it a an unenjoyable experience. But when it comes to actual human beings attacking me that are going along with the bot crowd, it's always take Texas out of your name. You're not from Texas. You belong in California. So yeah, in honor of the attacks this morning, I'm wearing my Republic of California shirt that one of you good people were kind enough to send me. So without further ado, fill your cups. Let's do this. Man, I tell you what, I'm feeling good. I am feeling really good. I was asking people the other day about that. Just where you at? How you feeling? I mean, I know it was change can always be disheartening, but I got to tell you, I'm feeling really good. I am super happy. It's been a good couple days for Kamala Harris. She has come out guns blazing, and we have had her back. This is actually old news. They're actually closing in on $200 million that she has taken in since becoming the presumptive nominee. And she is the presumptive nominee at this point because she has nailed down the she has nailed down. Did I remember to share that? Did I remember to screen share that, or did I just look at that myself and you folks not see it? It was a headline about Kamala Harris taking in over $100 million so far since becoming the nominee, and she has secured the delegates. We talked about this before. Someone that is in a presidential campaign can release their delegates. They can do that. She has secured enough delegates to become the nominee. She is the presumptive nominee, and we are in complete and utter control of the message. But that does not mean the GOP has gone away, and we're going to talk about that today. But before we do, let's just enjoy ourselves a little bit. We've got in a little over a week, they're going to do the roll call, because we talked about the chicanery in Ohio and the stuff that they tried to pull there. So we're going to end up doing a roll call vote before the actual convention. That's going to make news. That's going to control the news cycle. You've got Kamala Harris out there doing rallies. The fundraising is huge. The Republicans are on their heels. I had to actually laugh about this. This was Fox News, folks. This is just, give you some idea how well things are going on the right. They are not doing well with this change. They were completely unprepared for it, and it shows.
But I don't know. They like the fact that this is a young black woman squaring off against an old white guy. They like that she's going to all just talk about abortion. And they like the fact that she was a prosecutor and he's a felon. They like that framing.
Yeah, we do. I'm sorry, but just watching, I follow politics closely. I do. And just seeing how badly in the weeds they are right now is just killing me. It is cracking me up. It is hilarious because, Republicans really are good at messaging. They understand people's more baser instincts, and they're really good at picking at those. But they have been caught completely and utterly flat-footed, and have not been having a really good time in the news. ET says now we need to spread that love to all the other Democratic candidates, especially in the Senate races. We have an opportunity to change some red back to purple, many outlets and ways to help. Yeah, absolutely, ET. You're absolutely right. But the way we do that is to keep the excitement and to keep things moving in the right direction. And that's what today's show is about. Because the GOP didn't go away. They didn't. They didn't cease to exist just because we've got a candidate that everybody's excited about. We have the momentum. We have the excitement. They're working right now. Their goal, their immediate goal, is to cut the honeymoon phase as short as possible. And we're going to talk about that and prepare for that. You know what? I'm going to jump around a little bit. This was supposed to be for later in the show, but this is happening right now. This will open your eyes as to what this show is all about. You remember me telling you over and over and over again, all the folks that are regular, to the new folks, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. But to the folks that have been here for a while, this has been a recurring message for me. There will be a caravan. The Russians have utilized immigration as a weapon globally. They did it in Italy, with boat people. They arranged for boat people to come from Northern Africa and Italy. In Finland, of all places, all of a sudden, a caravan full of people from the Middle East and Northern Africa showed up in Finland. Yeah, they didn't walk that. They didn't walk from the Middle East. No, they were bussed in. They were flown in and bussed in and given bicycles, of all things. It was just, to folks that don't live in Europe, you wouldn't culturally understand that, but they were given bicycles to ride across the border and have a caravan crossing the Finnish border. Putin's been doing this globally, and I've been just hammering over and over and over again. Yeah, before the election, we're going to have another Russian caravan, Russian organized caravan at our southern. Thanks for the support, Robert. I appreciate you. And why have I been saying that? Because it really blunts it. You expect it. You see it for what it is. So you're not put on your heels when that happens. When a right-winger comes out and starts running their mouth about the border and all this nonsense, and they think they got something, man. They think they've done something, and start talking to you about this caravan, you know what it is. You know where it came from. Well, do I ever steer you wrong? Do I ever steer you wrong? Yeah. Here we go. Here come the stories. Hundreds of migrants leave southern Mexico on foot in new caravan headed for the U.S. border. And it's folks arranged. A lot of them are Cuban. The Russians have shipped Cubans to Guatemala who are friendly to the Russian government. The Guatemalans are friendly to the Russian government and pushed them up through the southern Mexico border. One, to cause problems for the Mexican government. This isn't just meant for us. It's actually meant to be a problem for Mexico also, because we have a very friendly relationship with the new president of Mexico. This is meant to be a problem for her also. So yeah, told you. And Carta, yes, MAGA is very predictable. And we're going to talk about that today. But before we get there, just enjoy a little bit of the craziness that is going on the right and the problems that they're having. Just have a little Schadenfreude on me, just a little soupçon of Schadenfreude. This is how it started. Donald Trump talking about how he's got to pay Elon Musk back.
And so are other. We have to make life good for our smart people. You know, we have some smart people. We have to make life good for our smart people. And he's as smart as you get. But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month.
That's how it started. You remember I told you, I told you, October is going to be fantastic. They claim all this money. They were talking about after the court case, they brought in all this money. Well, that FEC filing isn't due till September. And that's when you're going to see, yeah, that shit didn't happen. It didn't happen. They made a few $1 million, yeah, but they didn't make $50 million off that court case. And then when he got a little ear nicked, they said, oh, we made $80 million. And then the right wingers like, oh man, Trump's caught him in the fundraising. No, he did not. And I'm telling you, October is going to be just beautiful, beautiful. One of it's going to be the FEC filings are due, and they're going to do one or two things. They're either not going to file and just face the blowback from the FEC after the election when nobody cares, or you're going to find out they lied. They lied about their fundraising. And even Elon, I cannot stand listening to Donald Trump talk. It just annoys the shit out of me. This is how it's going. Elon Musk backs down from his $45 million a month pledge. Yeah. And he tries to claim, it's all high and mighty reasons that he's doing it because he just doesn't bend to cults of personality. Don't you know? Yeah, no. This is why Elon Musk backed off his $45 million a month pledge. They just had earnings reports at Tesla. And this is what's going on with Tesla stock. Yep, it is in free fall again. Yeah, because there's nothing about Tesla's valuation that makes sense. No one has ever, the only reason I can come up with that Tesla's stock is not $8 to $10 a share, because if you valued it like every other car company stock was valued, that's where it would be. It's about $8 to $10 a share. There's nothing in the fundamentals, nothing in the earnings, nothing anywhere in that company in the future that supports its current stock valuation. Nothing. It just makes no sense. The only reason it is held up is really stupid people that pretend to be really smart people invested a lot of really powerful people's money into Tesla stock, and they don't want to lose all that money. So they just keep pretending it's worth, 20, 30 times more than what reality keeps reminding them it's worth. Tesla's earnings call was, from what I understand, I haven't listened to the audio of it, but it was a disaster from what I understand. One person characterized it as listening to Elon Musk talk was like listening to a middle schooler that didn't do his homework trying to deliver a speech in front of the class when he had done none of the work. He just fumbled his way around and nobody got it. So the reason Elon Musk is backing away from his $45 million pledge, although he has still got a pack out there. He's still got a pack out there, is because the investors in Tesla just reminded him that he's a freaking idiot, that he will quit crapping on his customer base or else. And he folded. He folded like a wet piece of paper. And I've got to tell you that's not been all of it. I mean, the Schadenfreude is great. I mean, it is wonderful seeing the Trump campaign just reeling, but you've got to give props to Kamala Harris. She has been nailing it. She's had just one performance after another performance. She's had a big rally, and she has just been, her messaging has been fantastic, just fantastic.
As many of you know, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Boom.
And in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his.
Anybody want to hear that again? I'll play it again if you want to hear it again. But you want to hear it again? That was good. That was fantastic. That was coming out swinging. She just punched Donald Trump right in the frickin' eye, and I am here for it. Let's play it. Don't send me the email. Every time I do this, I get somebody that emails me and tells me, don't waste my time and show me. I'm showing this video twice. It's my show.
As many of you know, before I was elected as vice president, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California. And before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his.
Amen. Amen. That's how you do it. You go on offense, punched him right in the freaking eye for being a convict, punched him right in the eye for being a felon. Loved it. Loved it. You want to see I've got one more video from her. She is killing it. She is out there. The messaging has been fantastic. It's not just honeymoon excitement. It's not just, okay, we've got somebody else. No, she herself is killing it. Lucky Star says, if I was JD Vance, I'd be scared for my life. Donald Trump will blame JD Vance when he loses. And we know what Trump does to his VPs when he loses. Amen. Amen, brother. I made a video about that. JD Vance needs to get the hell out of there. The last guy checked all the boxes for Maga. All of them. Mike Pence literally checked every frickin' box. JD Vance is an atheist pretending to be a Christian who's married to he has biracial kids, which they hate because they're bigots. He just does not check the boxes for him. He is in danger. He really is in danger because Donald Trump is going to need someone to blame. And we're going to get to JD Vance in a minute. I want to play this video, and then we're going to talk about JD Vance just a little bit. This video is fantastic. This is Kamala Harris finding her new campaign slogan in real time.
America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back.
And there it is.
We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back.
We're not going back.
We're not.
We're not going back.
We're not going back.
You saw it real time. We're not going back. We're not going back. That is going to be fantastic. That and talking about JD Vance. Let's finish up with JD Vance before we get. We're going to Rachel Matt out of this. We're going to jump in the Wayback Machine and talk about the attacks that are coming. But before we do, let's finish up with JD Vance, shall we? A little more Schadenfreude for you. These are the articles that we're seeing. Leland Vittert asked Ron Johnson whether Republicans made a mistake with J.D. Vance. Did Trump make the wrong call picking J.D. Vance? There's a lot of buyer's remorse going on with J.D. Vance right now. His first appearance, solo appearance after, because that's what you do. You pick a VP and then you cut them loose. And you let them run and go on the attack because your VP has to be your attack dog. That was one of the mistakes that Hillary Clinton made back in 2016 with her VP choice. She picked a guy that was just a super nice guy. He really was no attack dog. He was no attack dog. Kamala Harris needs to learn from that and make sure her VP choice is an attack dog. And I tell you, that's one of the things. We're controlling the narrative because we've got so much excitement going up over the next few days and weeks. We do. Everything's rolling our way. They're blowing it. You know, you've got this from J.D. Vance. We're harping on the 2025 project, and videos are blowing up all over social media of J.D. Vance
I want to thank
praising
especially
it.
Kevin Roberts and all of the Heritage Foundation for 50 years of incredible work on conservative policy. The old famous, and I want to thank especially Kevin Roberts and all.
Okay, couple things, nothing like hearing somebody praising the Heritage Foundation and the 2025 project, standing on the stage at their leadership summit where they're recruiting people into their organization. Yeah, JP Mandel. JP Mandel. If y'all don't know where that comes from, Donald Trump was in Ohio at a rally and tried to introduce JD Vance, and he kept calling him JP, and then a couple of seconds later, he called him JP Mandel. I'm telling you, Donald Trump has pudding for brains. But one thing I want to call your attention to is how much eyeliner is this guy wearing here? I mean, take a look at this. How much freaking, they call it guy liner. And you know what? If you want to wear eyeliner, great. I know guys that wear fingernail polish. You want to do that? Great, man. You do you, boo-boo. But image when running for office is a thing. It is a real thing. And Donald Trump, yeah, we've become accustomed, desensitized to the fact that he wears enough makeup to fund an entire Sephora store on his own. And he chooses as a running mate, JP Mandel here. Yeah, amen, Michael. Amen. We are on the Harris train, baby, 100%. But take a look at this so I can get rid of this. Just real quick. Look at how much eyeliner he has on. What is with the makeup
Heritage
in these
Foundation
guys?
For 50 years of incredible work on conservative policy. The old famous, and I want to thank especially Kevin Roberts and all of the Heritage Foundation for 50.
Wow. I mean, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying how bad the Republican Party has suddenly become at all of this. I really don't even know the words to explain looking at that. Thank you. Thank you for thanking the people bringing us the 2025 project and keeping it in the news for us. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But yeah, and Schadenfreude's great. It is. And it is really good to have a good few days. And I've got to say, I'm sitting from the outside. Like I've told you, I've got nobody in the Kamala Harris campaign. I've got no contacts in there. I don't. I really don't. So I'm watching from the outside. And what I'm seeing is fantastic. I mean, it's really good. And let me just give you an idea of what I'm talking about there. The timing has been fantastic. The timing of President Biden putting the country first was perfect. It eliminated all the legal challenges. Remember the Heritage Foundation and all the Republican lawyers were going to come after us and sue because you can't do that. You can't change your nominee. He wasn't the nominee, was he? They did it before the convention. They did it before the roll call vote. So it's perfectly legal for somebody to say, I release my delegates. And by the way, I'd like you to vote for this person. Happens at every convention. You get the second and third place people that may have delegates that get behind the candidate and show their solidarity by releasing their delegates to the candidate. So yeah, I mean, that timing was perfect. 100%. They've caught the Republicans completely flat-footed. It's just been amazing. And then looking forward, folks, we've got in 1 week's time, we will have our roll call, our virtual roll call. And Kamala Harris will become not the presumptive nominee, she will become the nominee. And that will dominate the news cycle because we'll find out who the VP is going to be. So we've got right now a solid week to 2 weeks, because remember, they haven't announced when the roll call vote is going to be. For security purposes, they're keeping it quiet from the Russians and everybody else. But they've got all of the delegates briefed and trained and ready to do this. So it will be sometime between the 1st and the 7th. We know that much. So we're talking a week to 2 weeks. We're going to have Veep stakes. We're going to have the discussion about who is the best VP candidate. And I know you folks, man, you've been really coming at me with the Mark Kelly thing. I love Mark Kelly. I do. I have no problem with Mark Kelly. You know me, I'm a Pete Buttigieg guy. We have got a solid week to 2 weeks of Veep stakes. We control the message. That is not by accident, folks. None of this is just, they're not blundering along and falling into this good fortune. No. Then, after she becomes the presumptive nominee, well, then we have our convention 2 weeks after that. In 2 to 3 weeks, the middle of next month is our convention. That will dominate the news cycle. I'm watching this as somebody that loves politics, and I'm seeing them just nail this, just driving it. Because I have to tell you, folks, the corporate media, they are 100% on board behind Trump. They are. They are really waiting. They are really waiting for Trump to get his shit wired straight. And that's why I want to talk about the attacks. And I told you about the caravan, and boom, there it is. There it is. So let's talk about the attacks. And to do that, I want to jump in the Wayback Machine and go back to 2004. I want to Rachel Maddow this. I love Rachel Maddow. I love the way she does this stuff. I am going to 100% steal her style for a second. In 2004, our candidate for president was John Kerry. It was John Kerry. And just as a side note, never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But anyways, John Kerry was our nominee. Well, he was a much better, much smarter candidate, had a better resume than George W. Bush. He did. But like I told you just a moment ago, the GOP didn't just go away. Their Republican donors didn't just go away. The Russians were already working to benefit the GOP. You had these fringe groups. Remember the Swift vets? Attacking our nominee. And when they do, and we can learn from this, we're going to learn from this. I'm going somewhere with this. Stick with me. For all you new folks, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up button. You're going to like this. See, look, we're having Veep Stakes conversations in the chat right now as I'm talking to you. The only problem with Andy and Josh is that we need them to stay dim governors where they are. We're going to dominate the news cycle with that conversation. But I don't want you to lose track of what the Republicans are doing. See, John Kerry served. He did. He served. He commanded one of these PFTs. It's patrol boat fast, I think is what it is, what it's called. But swift boats is the layman's term for it. He actually commanded a couple of these. During the Vietnam War, one of the problems we have is, we have this big, beautiful Navy and this big, beautiful military, and it just doesn't do well in rivers. It really doesn't do in rivers, well in rivers. And this was our early solution to it. Was we had these boats that were extremely fast. They very shallow draft, high horsepower, lightweight, lightly armored, no real armor to speak of. And we deployed these in rivers. And this is what John Kerry did when he served. You juxtapose that against George Bush, who served in the Champagne unit in the National Guard. He actually avoided service by playing pilot in a guard unit down in San Antonio, where the rich kids got sent. And by the way, these boats are still in service. They were fantastic boats. They really were fantastic boats. They're still in service. A lot of park services and stuff like that still have these boats operating today. And this boat was in service in 1968. It gives you some idea how well made these boats were. But yeah, there were several stories from John Kerry's service. And he, no, not PT 109. That's, don't confuse John Kerry with Kennedy. I'll get you the exact boat number here. .44, I think, was his boat. PCF. I said PFT. PCF is Patrol Craft Fast, is what it is. Yeah, PCF 44 was his first one. And then he went on to like PCF 59 or something like that. But PCF 44 was his first boat. And there was a story that came out as part of his service. And this is just amazing. These boats had been getting the crap shot out of them. The North Vietnamese and the guerrillas figured out that these were vulnerable boats. They were not heavily armored. And you could hear them coming from a mile away. They relied on speed. But when you're tracking a boat, no matter how fast it is, you're not talking about a drag boat. These things aren't doing 150 miles an hour. They're doing 30, 40 knots up a river. It's moving, about like this in your field of fire. It's not a hard shot. And they were just pummeling these things with small arms fire, which could penetrate the armor. And they were hitting these things with RPGs. They were really playing hell with these boats. They were very lightly armored. Well, John Kerry did something that was not military doctrine. Amen, Roxanne. Amen. He did something that is not military doctrine. When his boat came under attack, rather than trying to do what they were trained to do, which was utilize speed to get away, which usually ended up in these boats getting the shit shot out of them and Americans dying, John Kerry ordered his boat to beach right in front of the North Vietnamese that were attacking him. He turned into the bank and they went on the attack. John Kerry, when that boat hit the bank, leapt off the front of the boat with an M16, ran up the riverbank, and killed one of the attackers and drove the other ones off. Dennis and Jan, going forward with Kamala Harris, no going back. Amen. Amen. And thank you for the support. That's a true story, folks. It really is. He actually went back during the campaign and met the commander of the Vietnamese force that had been attacking them. They met, they talked, and they actually talked about the man that John Kerry had killed. He was carrying a rocket launcher. He was about to blow their boat out of the damn water when John Kerry killed him. I mean, this was real heroism, folks. This was real service. But that is not what came out. Because what came out was the corporate media and the Bush campaign made this the story of John Kerry's service. So John Kerry really questioned afterwards, what the hell was he even doing in Vietnam? What were we doing in Vietnam? And they attacked his service because he dared question. Because you've got to remember the atmosphere at this time. When he was running, George Bush had just invaded Iraq. And all the righties were on this gung-ho, yay, let's military. You remember what it was like when they first said that. I lost a lot of friends for coming out against the Iraq war. And I'm okay with that. I really am okay with that. I'm right. I'm right. Haley Halo, please spread the word about Ziklag on the pro-political site. They are the chat. Yes, we're going to do a whole show on Ziklag. We are. We're going to do a whole show on Ziklag. For folks that don't know, and a public service announcement, it's already started here in Texas. We were going to talk about this at the end of the show, but you brought it up, and hey, it's your show too. They've already gone to work here in Texas. Ziklag is a group of religious fundamentalist billionaires that are funding an attack on you. They're attacking you directly. They're doing things, they're different ways they can challenge your voter registration. They're attacking you. There are people in Texas already reporting, because ET is kind enough to send a reminder every show. Get your butt out there and check your registration. People are taking that to heart, and people here in Texas are already finding out their registration has been suspended. Their information didn't change. Their address didn't change. Nothing changed, but they're Democrats, and all of a sudden their registration has been suspended pending them going and verifying their address. That's really happening. That's really happening right now. So yeah, we're going to do a whole show on Ziklag. We are. But back to John Kerry. So instead of this story of his heroism, instead of his story of we really need to think about how we use our military force, they attacked him for not really digging the Vietnam War. and they lied about him. That story that I just told you about him turning his boat into enemy fire, beaching his boat on the shore, jumping off the boat, leading, not waiting for his men to do it, leading. He jumped off the bow of that boat the minute it hit the bank, chased down a guy with a rocket launcher and killed him before they could destroy his boat. They turned that in right-wing social media into, it was a kid. John Kerry killed a kid. Yeah. 12 years old, 14 years old, depending on who you heard the story from, it was a kid. He murdered a kid. That's how they spun that. They really did. It wasn't true. He was a grown-ass adult gorilla. We know who it was, but that's how they spun it. They attacked that story. And then they said he lied about his Purple Heart. And that he didn't deserve the medals that he earned for bravery. He didn't earn the medals that he earned. He didn't earn his Purple Heart. He faked it. He put in fake reports. He had a little nick on his arm, and they gave him a Purple Heart for that. He didn't earn his Purple Heart. And they went so far as to do this. You'll probably remember this if you've been in politics as long as I have. They wore these to their convention. They put on little Band-Aids and drew Purple Hearts on them, mocking John Kerry's service. Meanwhile, their candidate didn't serve. He got free pilot lessons in a National Guard unit, nicknamed the Champagne Unit because it's where all the rich kids got sent. My point in telling you this is what you do in politics. You take your opponent's greatest strength and you attack it. You turn it into a net negative. And they will try to do that with Kamala Harris. They will. I guarantee you, right now, as we speak, what is Kamala Harris's greatest strength right now? What is her greatest strength? I'm asking you a question for the chat. What is her greatest strength? Pour myself another cup of coffee while I wait for the response. If you had to guess, she's a kind person. Her laugh. Yep. Boom. You got it. Greg win. Winner, chicken dinner. Greg got it. But all of your answers, they've already attacked. Her laugh, the fact that she's personable. All over right-wing media, there is a meme that is half Kamala Harris and half a hyena. They're attacking her laugh. They're attacking her being personable. But the most important thing she's got going for her is her resume. She's real. She is the real deal. She's not some failed real estate developer. She's not. She's got a fantastic, amazing resume. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to attack that. And they already are. Right now, as we speak, there are groups of Republican activists looking for this woman. We're going to go through an exercise here. You're going to leave here prepared to fight. Who is this woman? She's nobody. She doesn't exist. She's a complete AI creation that I created for us, for this exercise, for this purpose. So you guys need to name her. You need to give her a name. It's part of the exercise. I need a name. What is the most right-wing girl name you can come up with? Brittany? Kaylee? Karen. Karen. Yeah. No, it's got to be a sweet little innocent name. Sarah. Brian Peachy. There you go. Sarah. We're going to call her Sarah. She is our AI creation. She is Sarah. And who's Sarah? Who is Sarah? Who is hashtag Sarah? Sarah is the victim that they're looking for right now. They are combing through all of her convictions. They're combing through all of her decisions as a prosecutor, going all the way back to Alameda County, to San Francisco, to the Attorney General of New York, because they're looking for Sarah. And who is Sarah? Little white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl that was the victim of crime from somebody that Kamala Harris prosecuted, who got out and committed more crime. Exactly. For my people that are politicos, exactly. They want Willie Horton number 2.0. That's what they want. That's the way they're going to attack her the most. They are not going to look, and the corporate media isn't going to tell you the stories of all of the successes and all of the convictions and all of the good work that Kamala Harris did. No. They're going to find the unicorn. They're going to find the one-off. They're going to find the one that went through the system just like everyone else did and came up with a bad result. They do it all the time. They've done it already. They do it with immigration. And every single Republican, every MAGA piece of crap out there is waiting. They're just waiting for their Sarah to come along. See, folks, we're excited. We're excited. We are ready to do this, man. We are 100% behind our candidate and excited. What is Maga doing? Maga is not excited. Maga didn't see Kamala Harris and say, well, you know what? I'm pro law enforcement. I'm pro rule of law. I am pro rule of law. And she's a prosecutor. Kamala Harris is a prosecutor. Maybe I should take a look at her. Maybe I should listen to what she has to say. No, that is not what MAGA is doing. MAGA is waiting for the talking point. They're waiting for that thing they can throw at you online. It doesn't have to be real. Doesn't have to be true. Look at this made up border crap. None of it's real, but they repeat it incessantly, constantly. And here comes their caravan. They're made up Russia organized caravan. That's what MAGA is doing right now. And it's coming. And I'm not going to wait for it to get here and react to it. No, I'm on the attack. I'm going on the attack. That's why you and I are having this conversation. That's why you and I are having this conversation. I want you prepared. I want you ready for when it happens to be able to just throw hashtag Sarah. When they go, they find that one unicorn, that one case out of all the hundreds and thousands of cases that had good outcomes and people went to prison and served their time, that one case that they find, hashtag Sarah. We knew you were going to make this shit up. We knew that you were going to try to find one thing and just harp on that and act like that is all she is. And believe me, the corporate media is waiting breathlessly for that story. Exactly. Asborn Newton, she is ignoring the border and letting in millions. Folks, that whole border thing didn't go away. It didn't go away. They are in the process of trying to transfer that from Joe to her. They keep calling her his border czar. This was her failure. She did this. Crime. Even though crime has plummeted, their people need the talking point. And it doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to really exist. It doesn't really have to happen. This has just come out from the NRSC, National Republican Senatorial Committee. This is what their committee that runs their re-election efforts in the Senate. It's a memo that talks about how they're going to attack Kamala Harris. They're trying as hard as they can to end her honeymoon period. It's got subtitles like most liberal senator. You know how every person that ever runs for office as a Democrat, they put that title on them every time. She is the most liberal senator. Well, the last guy that ran was the most liberal, and the one before that was the most liberal, and then one before that was the most liberal. And you can see it's under the big red headline, extreme agenda here. Most liberal senator. Kamala Harris was ranked the country's most liberal senator by nonpartisan GovTrack. It's not nonpartisan. It's right-wing shit. And they just made it up. Ever heard of Bernie Sanders, motherfucker? No. No. Kamala Harris isn't even close to being the most liberal senator. Immigration. They've got a lot of bullet points on their immigration. Kamala Harris is Joe Biden's border czar and the architect of his biggest failure. No, actually, it's his biggest success. It's his biggest success. Border crossings have plummeted. We have arrested more criminals than ever. Joe Biden's Border Patrol is one of the most effective we have ever had. They keep arresting the bad guys. But like I said, you attack somebody on their strength. Joe Biden has been the best border president we have ever had. He took Trump's Title 42 disaster that was just causing insane immigration because the mules knew they didn't have to worry about their customers being arrested. They would just mule them across. And if they got caught, well, they just got a bus ride back. No prosecution, no nothing. That's what happened under Trump. And when Joe Biden tried to stop it, they sued him. But their talking points aren't based in reality, and they don't have to be. They don't have to be. Travel on Trish says, thank you for all you're doing, Texas Paul. I always learn from you. Go Kamala. Kamala. Where'd that come from? Kamala. Go Kamala. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I need you to be ready with hashtag Sarah. Okay? Because that really is coming. And they really are trying to fix their messaging. You remember when John Roberts said, racism's a thing of the past. We don't need all these racism initiatives to try to end racism. It don't exist anymore. Yeah, it does. We knew it. They knew it. Because you don't have to put a memo out telling your people to stop being racist, misogynist jackasses if you don't know your people are being racist, misogynist jackasses. You know, calling her the DEI candidate. Katie Fain did a real good job of dispatching that. This is a good one. I got another video for you. Yes, hashtag Sarah. When the fake stuff comes up, I need you to be ready to respond.
The historic candidacy of Kamala Harris sparking some very ugly reactions on the right. GOP Congressman Tim Burchett calling her a, quote, DEI candidate, a phrase that's become a fan favorite for Republicans, used against public officials who are people of color, used as a shorthand to impugn someone's credentials.
It's the new N-word. It's the new N-word. They can't say the N-word out loud, but they really want to say the N-word out loud, so that's what they say instead.
Even when their own resume is a lot thinner. Before he went to Congress, Tim Burchett was a mayor and a state lawmaker. Before becoming vice president, Kamala Harris was a senator, the attorney general for California, the district attorney for San Francisco, and a local prosecutor. Burchett got 141,000 votes in his last election. Kamala Harris got over 81 million votes as part of the Biden-Harris ticket. Sometimes the dog whistle on the right is more like a bullhorn.
Yeah. 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 That's what they're doing. And yes, they're blowing it. They're just pissing people off. They are motivating us. They are getting us to just support her more and more and more, but they haven't gone away. They haven't. They're working right now on messaging. They're trying to find what works. This is the second page of that NRSC memo. You've seen some of these already, folks. If you're online like I, on social media like I am, they've got a subcategory down here, weird. It's where they're going to try to make her seem weird. See the subcategory, weird. Kamala Harris has a habit of laughing at inappropriate moments, attacking the laugh. You've seen that already. This memo goes out to all of their people, and they Nazi march lockstep and get on this messaging. Kamala Harris pledged to ban plastic straws. How many times did you see that stupidity pop up? It's already all over social media. Kamala Harris plans to ban plastic straws. Kamala Harris is in favor of banning certain behaviors like eating meat. No, she's not. But I told you, it doesn't have to be true. They just need something they can throw at you. That's what the MAGA voters are, those pieces of crap MAGA voters. They're not there trying to learn and do anything or do what's best for the country. They're just looking for that ammo to attack you with. And it doesn't have to be true. Kamala Harris loves Venn diagrams. Well, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. You and your fancy commie Venn diagrams. This is really from the NRC, folks. This is from the Republican Re-election Committee. Kamala Harris loves Venn diagrams. Them damn commie Venn diagrams, them overlapping circles. Kamala Harris loves electric school buses because she went to school on a school bus. Yeah. Yeah. Kamala Harris recently discovered that electricity doesn't smell. I got to explain that one. I got to explain that one. Gas stinks. I hate when I have to use gas operated equipment. I'm a battery guy. I really love the fact that battery technology has gotten to the point where you can get just about anything that'll run on a battery now, and I love it. Lightweight chainsaw. You need a lightweight chainsaw, you can get a battery operated one and never have to mess with gasoline again. But yeah, that's a talking point for them. Electricity don't stink. And Kamala Harris just figured out electricity don't stink. Folks, my point in all this is real. They're really throwing crap at the wall. But why? Why are they throwing crap at the wall? Amy Manuel, it's the 90s Seinfeld airing grievances campaign. Yeah. Why? Because they're trying to see what sticks. They're working. They're working on their attacks. Shout out to Biddy and Bose. Love my Biddy and Bose cup. Great coffee shop if you've never been to Biddy and Bose, by the way. So what do you do about it? What do we do about it? You go on the attack. You don't wait. And you don't sit on your heels. When those attacks come, when they find a victim who's a real victim that was really hurt or really died because somebody in the state of California, when Kamala Harris was the AG, got paroled and went out and committed another crime. Oh my God. Yeah, that happens. Recidivism is a thing. And they try to paint that as Kamala Harris's entire prosecutorial career. Hashtag Sarah. We saw this shit coming. We did. And they won't always be clownishly bad at it. This is Jabroni Manarino, Joey Manarino. He's from Philly. He's from Philadelphia. Where's my Philadelphia people at? Where are my Pennsylvania? This is Joey Manarino. He is a toxic turd. He is a piece of crap. And the right-wingers love him. They love to quote him. He's a jabroni. If you don't know what a jabroni is, basically it's an idiot. What was he doing? Well, this is Joey Manarino. See, he gets quoted all the time. He comes up with these little things that gets your bigoted white guy pissed off. He's really good at grievance. And he got busted. This is really from his Twitter feed. He forgot to change accounts. He forgot to go to his burner account where he pretends to be a black female. And he posted this on his main account. I'm a true black American woman, and I've been black all my life. I was born black, and I will die black. My mommy black. Tell me that's not some racist shit there. My daddy black. I will never cast a ballot for that Kamala Harris woman as long as I live. Trump all the way, all day, every day. And then this picture. He forgot to change accounts. This is what they do, folks. When I tell you there's nothing real about these people, she's probably AI. She's probably completely made, just like Sarah is completely made up. It's AI. That's what I did before the show. I said, find me a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl about 20 years old, going to college. That's what the background's supposed to be, college. There's nothing real about them. Nothing. It's all made up. I mean, think about their attacks on the transgender community. Folks, what do they do? Oh, you're going to get some transgender pervert in the bathroom with your daughter. Really, dude? Really? And they leave people defending that. And all of a sudden we're having that conversation when, one, the transgender community is one of the smallest communities on the face of the planet. They're not all transgender women. There are transgender men out there that'll be in the men's bathroom, but they don't talk about that. They don't worry about that. And what do women do in the bathroom? They go into a stall and take care of their business. That's it. But they got you talking about that one little thing. Meanwhile, they're gutting schools. My state of Texas was just rated one of the worst states in the country to live in. A report on reliability of electricity just came out. Guess who was 50th? 50th out of 50 states. Texas. But let's talk about transgender people that want to be in sports. All 2 of them in a country of 320 million people. This is what the Republicans are. There's nothing real about them at all. So I made up a completely fake person to make fun of their bullshit. Hashtag Sarah. Be on the attack. Be on the attack. Be like Jamie Raskin here. This is what we do about it. You didn't think I was going to tell you how they were going to attack Kamala Harris and just leave it at that, did you? No, not at all. My guy Jared Moskowitz shared this. I love Jamie Raskin. This is Jamie Raskin on Fox News. This is.
So now she is likely the nominee in Chicago. Do you think this process is okay with most Democrats, that there hasn't been voting for Vice President Harris?
Well, of course it is, because 14 million people voted for Joe Biden and for Kamala Harris for president and vice president. And obviously we expressed our full confidence in her when we elected her to be vice president originally. So we've been totally behind her, and our party is completely unified. The real question, of course, is over on the GOP side of the aisle, where the former vice president isn't even supporting Donald Trump anymore. Mike Pence said he's not supporting him. That was the breakneck speed, the speed with which Mike Pence got dropped. People were talking about hanging him, and then they stuck in J.D. Vance. Yeah. Instead, a guy who said that Donald Trump could be America's next Hitler. So that's the breakneck speed. That's the amazing turnaround.
You could only do common ground so long. And then, Mr. Chairman,
Exactly. You do not have the conversation they want you to have. You don't. Attack all the time. All the time. The caravan. I'm not having that conversation. I've been preparing you to dismiss that conversation. I've been telling you over and over and over again. I've showed you where Republicans, Russia, same difference. The Russians have used this internationally. We have a huge international audience. Talk to the people here from Europe. You folks from Europe, I love that you are here. Tell them how much you hear the same nonsense about immigration in your country. In your country. I am training you to brush this shit off and stay on the attack. No, I'm not going to have a conversation with you about how we got our nominee. No, I'm not. Our nominee is Kamala Harris, and your nominee is a piece of shit for reason 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Love Jamie Raskin. I love Jamie Raskin. He is so good at this. He is so good at this. And these are the talking points that we need the DNC putting out. 2025 project. All the time. Never let them forget it. And then show the entire world with them running away from the 2025 project. Well, you loved it 2 weeks ago, but now it doesn't poll very well. So now you running? You got all the conviction of a windsock. This right here needs to be run in a loop. In a loop.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. We have tremendous growth. We're going to have tremendous growth this next year. It'll be toward the end of the year. The growth is going to be incredible. And at the right time, we will take a look at that. You know, that's actually the easiest of all things, if you look, because it's such a big
willing to do some of
If you don't cut something in entitlements, you'll never really deal with the
we'll
debt.
be cutting, but we're also going to have growth like you've never had before.
You changed your
your outlook on how to handle entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, Mr. President? It seems like something has to be done, or else we're going to be stuck at 120% of debt to GDP forever.
Sarcasm is free. Thank you for the support, and thank you for this comment. And please don't get your feelings hurt that I'm going to disagree with you here. My entire message for this show is don't do this. Don't do this. If you are rebutting their attacks on you, you're having the conversation they want you to have. We're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Donald Trump was the worst border president we have ever had. Title 42 is a disaster. Joe Biden was the best border president we ever had, period. Move on. Let me tell you why Donald Trump is a complete and utter piece of crap who just bragged about ending Roe versus Wade. He wants to take us back, and we're not going back. 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 Sean Z, thank you. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. You get my point, though? We're not on our heels anymore, ever again. Ever again. We know the attacks are coming. That's the point of this whole show. Yes, press the advantage relentlessly. I love you people. I love you people so much. We are not going back. Stargal, we are not going back. Not at all. We're not going back on the defensive. And the corporate media will try. They will try. When they find Sarah, and they will, folks, California is a massive massive state. It's a country unto itself, basically. They'll find someone during her term that, there was recidivism. People go back to prison. They'll find somebody that was violent. They will. I'm not having that conversation. Hashtag Sarah. And move on to your attack. Our economy is amazing. Your economy sucked. Asborn Newton, the border, I've never had any problems with an immigrant. What are you going to do to make housing more affordable? Absolutely. You're a failure, Donald Trump. You failed. You failed everything you did. Your policies were atrocious. Your policies were horrible. You pardoned murderers, convicted murderers. My governor pardoned a convicted murderer. Donald Trump, there was a group of civilians in Iraq that were unarmed, and some Blackwater mercenaries, weren't even soldiers, murdered them all. 4 guys opened fire on children, on women that were completely unarmed. They were convicted of murder. And Donald Trump pardoned them. Donald Trump said torture isn't torture. They did. He said waterboarding is not torture. Yeah? Let me do it to you. Let me waterboard Trump, please. Stay on the attack. Stay on the attack. That is what our show is today. Stay on the attack because they're coming. You've seen it. I've shown you the memos. They're throwing crap at the wall. They're going to find their little Sarah, and all over the right wing, people that don't know her name, that hate Californians. Why do you think they tell me go to California? Why do you think that these MAGA people, that's their go-to attack on social media? Every one of my posts, I have to go out and delete people that are abusive and rude, and they tell me, take your hat off. Okay, I'll take my hat off. I got hair, bitch. I got good hair. Take your hat off. Take Texas out of you. You're not even from Texas. Bullshit. Born and raised, baby. Go to California. Don't threaten me with a good time. I've been to California. You haven't. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. The reason I know you're saying go to California like it's an insult is because you've never been. I got to tell you, California is an amazing place. Go up to Calaveras Big Trees. There are places in California that will make your jaw drop. The coastline is absolutely gorgeous. Go to Lake Tahoe. It is beautiful. Up in the mountains. Beautiful. Don't threaten me with a good time. I'm telling you. Yosemite, yes, I've been. Half Dome, beautiful, incredible. Bridal Veil Falls. We're not going back. There you go. Sharon Reddy. I'm a pro. We're not going back. Didn't jingle it. Rang the Liberty Bell. Well, that's what I've got for you today, folks. That's what I want to set you up for. The caravan's coming. Told you it would. Never lie to you. Never lie to you. The Russians have put together another caravan, and it's making its way up here. It'll take a few weeks to get here, and they'll try to keep immigration in the corporate news will absolutely abdicate all their journalistic responsibility, and they will repeat Republican talking points and then stick a mic in a Democrat's face and say, have that conversation. Do not have that conversation. Do not. We're not. Have the conversation we want to have. Never get on your heels. Always on the balls of your feet, pushing forward, kicking them in the balls. That's what we're doing. I'm on the Harris train, baby. I am on the Harris train. I had Joe's back to the day he said he was not going to run again. You know it. I was there. And you better believe I got her back. You better believe I didn't miss a beat. I'm ride or die, baby. I am ride or die. Because I know what's good for our country. I know what's good for our country. And it is not the Republican Party. And it damn sure isn't Donald Trump. Well, I love you folks. I hope you've found this helpful. I hope that that we can keep going forward, keep the momentum going forward. I know we will. I know we will. Like I said, just to recap, Kamala Harris has just been fantastic. Their campaign has hit the ground running. The timing is beautiful. It is perfect, 100%. While their convention was a disaster, was an absolute disaster, while they're having buyer's remorse over J.D. Vance, we've got massive excitement. We've got the Veep stakes, trying to figure out who's going to be the VP. And look at all the freaking choices we have, man. Look how exciting it is. Those are the conversations we're going to have. We're not going to let the corporate media go back on the attack for Republicans. We're not going to let Katie Turd do her thing. Christian Welker's out eating some steak right now, man, drinking a bottle of Barolo or a bottle of Merlot on the Republicans' dime, getting her talking points, man. We're not going to let that happen. In the so-called left-wing media, we're not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let that happen. We're going to keep going. And I appreciate all the support, folks. I really do. You let me do this full time. I'm very grateful. Don't forget to visit the Texas Paul store. Get your mugs. This is not one of mine. This is Biddy and Bowes, folks. They are a wonderful business. I plug them every chance they get. They're not affiliated with me at all. They're not hiring me to do it. I just do it because they're good people doing a good thing. They hire people that are developmentally challenged, and it is a great coffee shop. It is a great coffee shop. But that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful. enjoy some Texas cities at night. And thank you again.